All right, guys, we are back at the GSMC Golf Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We're going to get into our second segment of the night, but before we do that, I would like to remind you guys that if you are enjoying the show so far, you can use the tips and donations link to support everybody here at the GSMC Podcast Network. It really does go a long way, really does help us out. And with that all being said, we're going to get right into our second segment of the night here. What does the win at Valhalla mean for Xander? Of course, this was a historic one at Valhalla. The PGA Championship, the Wanamaker Trophy is probably, all the majors are kind of the same, but I would say if we're ranking really majors based on how important it is to win, the Masters is absolutely the number one tournament in golf. The PGA Championship, I would say, is number two. So getting the Wanamaker, that of course is the trophy you receive for winning the PGA Championship. So getting the Wanamaker and Xander Schauffele being able to get his first major of his career is very impressive. Xander Schauffele is 30 years old. He's been in the tour for a pretty long time. He bursted out on the scene, winning the Tour Championship in 2017 or 2018, I want to say, somewhere around there. And ever since then, he's been a great golfer. It's always been looked at like he's going to have to get one eventually, and he gets his first this year. When he won it, you could really see the relief that went through his face. It was an amazing sight to see. He was so happy, and you love to see that. All these golfers deserve to win on tour. If all of them could win a major championship, you would love to see it, because truly, there's not really a single golfer on tour that I don't like. Right, when a lot of the live guys went, we started to not like them, but ever since a lot of that has died down, and seeing them come back for just the majors is still very exciting. A lot of people started rooting for Bryson DeChambeau on Sunday, just rooting for that playoff, because it would be great to see him get his first. A lot of people were rooting for Brooks Koepka last year at the PGA Championship, who he did end up winning it last year, and he had a pretty solid weekend. Of course, nowhere near contention, but had a solid weekend in his own right this weekend at Valhalla. But talking about Xander Schauffele, first off, great to see him win. What does this mean historically for him? We're going to be talking about some of the guys that never were able to win a major. And a lot of guys right now, so golf recently is at the height of its competitiveness. You have a lot of golfers who are amazing, very skilled, very, very fantastic golfers, but you only have 4 majors a year. So currently, the best golfers in the world right now who have not won a major, of course, Patrick Cantlay is probably the first name on the list. 2021 FedEx Cup champion. He has 8 wins on tour, none of them being a major. He's 32 years old, so time's ticking for him, but you expect him to win one by the end of his career. He finished third at the PGA Championship in 2019. That was his best win on tour, or best win. That was his best finish in a major. Another name, Tony Finau. That's a historic name. He's 34 now. He's won 6 times on tour. He finished third in the 2019 Open. He finished fourth at the 2020 PGA Championship and fifth at the 2018 U.S. Open. So he's done very well in majors in his career. Has not been able to win one. He played pretty well this weekend. So we're looking at him to win one here soon. Tommy Fleetwood's another name. But I think the biggest name in golf right now who has never won a major championship has to be Ricky Fowler. He, in 2014, was in the mix for all 4 majors. He tied for second at the U.S. Open, at the U.S. and the Open Championship. Tied for third at the PGA Championship, right behind Phil Mickelson and Rory McIlroy, who won that, and fifth at the Masters. He was so close to winning one in 2014. And then in 2018, he lost to Patrick Reed by 1 stroke. I mean, Ricky Fowler has been so close to winning that major. He has 6 wins on tour. Ricky Fowler is going to break through eventually. He's 35, so time's a ticking on him as well. But Ricky Fowler, it would be a shock if he goes his entire career and never wins a major. So I'm really looking at Ricky Fowler, especially this year when it comes to the U.S. Open and the Open Championship, to see if he can pull one out there. Other names on tour, guys that I have, a little spoiler for the fourth segment, guys that I have in my top 10 in the world right now. Max Homa, Victor Hovland, both of these guys have never won a major championship. Victor Hovland, very young. He's 26 years old. This is his third year on tour, so you're going to expect him to win one eventually. He's already won 6 events, and then he was second in the 2023 PGA Championship. So, he's going to win one eventually. He was third this last year. He was third this year. He was second last year at the PGA Championship. He always puts his name right at the top of the list, and with his old swing coach back at the Open Championship and U.S. Open, we could see him playing some good golf and winning one. Will Zalatoris definitely can win one as well. He's 27 years old. He only has one tour victory, but he's just been a mainstay on tour. Absolutely impressive, everything that he does. Every tournament he's in, he is putting his name in the ring for. In the 2022, he lost out in the PGA Championship to Justin Thomas. He lost out in a playoff. He came in second in the U.S. Open later that year. He lost in 2021 by one stroke to Hideki Matsuyama in the Masters. So he's been very close. Will Zalatoris, he only has one win on tour, however, so really looking for him to stack the wins at the other events before he might win a major. But yeah, those are the guys that are currently on tour that have never won a major. Some of the best golfers of all time to never have won a major. Fred Couples those are the ones that only have one. Some of the best golfers that have never won one. Steve Stricker never won a major. He's won 12 times on tour. He's probably, for those of you that pay attention to golf, historically, Steve Stricker is a name that you're going to know. He captained the Ryder Cup in 2021. He played in 3 Ryder Cups himself. He has 12 wins on tour. He played in 2 FedEx Cup playoff events. He was a mainstay on tour for a very, very long time. And then he has played in 76 majors in his career, not winning a single one. And that's a very big shock. Another big name that never won one was Matt Kuchar. He's still playing on tour right now. He's playing in majors right now. I don't know if he's still on tour. But he is a name that has always been in contention when he was in his heyday for majors, but never been able to get one. So Xander Schauffele does elevate himself into the one major championship list, going above all those guys kind of historically, above Ricky Fowler, above Tony Finau, above Steve Stricker, above Matt Kuchar, a lot of guys that have been mainstay on tours for a very long time. So it's impressive whenever you're able to get one. That's why it's extremely hard to win a major. There are plenty of guys that win many events on tour but never win a major, and Xander Schauffele is not one of them. So he's definitely relieved to have gotten this one. He joins a very, very strong list of guys that have only won one. The biggest name on the list for me is Fred Couples, the 1992 Masters champion. He, of course, only won the 1992 Masters Championship. He won 15 PGA Tour events. He had 12 top 5s in majors. He had 25 top 10 in majors. He was always in contention, but only got one. Of course, he was playing golf in Tiger Woods' heyday, so that's probably why. He also played against Jose Maria before that, who was an amazing golfer in his own right, and of course, Phil Mickelson was also in that era of golf. So it was very hard to win in the late 90s and early 2000s, and I believe Fred Couples is the best example of that. Other guys that only have one: Tom Kite, the 1992 U.S. Open champion, U.S. Open winner. He was runner-up 3 times at the Masters. He he was always in contention in big majors. Like, he could have won 5 different majors in his career, Tom Kite, but he only won the 1992 U.S. Open. Other name that has only won 1 championship, Tom Weiskopf. That's their 1973 Open Championship winner. He was a runner-up at the Masters 4 times. That's where he's more notably from. He could have won any of those 4 times at the Masters. So, yeah, it's an exclusive list even for one major championship, and then 2 major championships get even more exclusive. So it's impressive what Xander Schauffele was able to do at the PGA Championship. As I said multiple times, it's hard to just get one, and when you're playing golf for as long as Xander Schauffele has, he is so happy, so elated, so relieved to finally have gotten that one. That'll wrap it up for this second segment. It means a lot to Xander Schauffele, to answer the question, but it means a lot for him, cementing his legacy in stone finally. So that'll wrap it up for our second segment. When I get back, we'll be talking about Scottie Scheffler and how he got arrested on Friday morning.